so happy. I'd love to know how you get rid of buff gaming right away because it drives me nuts.
You can literally just install it, but I don't because points and free shit.
It doesn't let me uninstall. I've tried. Like, I've tried many a times. Alright. Hello, everybody! Wait, no, I don't want to do it that way. Let me rethink that.
Damn, that was just... I wanted to say something after you said, hello, everybody. I was like, committing arson.
You're terrible. Right. Hello, my spiderlings, and welcome back. I am Razored Spider, and today I am playing Bioshock. Well, Bioshock Infinite. Guess I can't really say Bioshock, otherwise people are gonna think I'm talking about the first two games. Yeah, but, I'm gonna make a series out of this. This is gonna be the first episode. Fair warning. As you see in the banner, all the way at the top up here, this says that it is 1912. It is staged in 1912, so just as a warning and disclaimer now, this is a rated M game. There are racist comments that are made in here, so please don't get offended by it. It, in a fashion, is trying to stay historically accurate. It's something that is very biased, but it's done this way because of the time period that it is set in. Yeah, so let's get started.
Just remember, it's not a war crime if you like it.
Carl! You're not helping.
Listen, I guarantee you, there were heavy war crimes being committed in 1912.
I don't
That
doubt
entire
that.
fucking time was a war crime.
Oh.
And not
Anyways.
convince me otherwise.
I have played this game many a times before, so I will be starting this as a new game. Yes, I do want to proceed. I'm going to be playing this on easy. I am not a pro gamer. Not going to pretend like I am. I'm playing that shit on easy. It's just how it's going to be. But anyways, so this game...
Are you afraid of God?
No.
Is war crime simulator. That's what that game is.
Helping! I try not to talk over the people that are talking.
Listen.
You're not fucking helping. I'm not listening to you.
Bioshock is a war crime simulator that's amazing.
Standing.
Not standing. Rowing.
Rowing. Land on it.
So you expect me to shoulder the burden?
Can't
No.
tell me it's not.
But I do expect you to do all the rowing.
We don't.
Why is that?
We play it for the story and the war crimes.
I've made it very clear that I don't believe in the exercise.
The rowing?
No. Imagine that's wonderful exercise.
Then what?
The entire thought experiment.
Excuse me. How much longer?
Because you can't tell me death by a million crows is not considered a war crime
One does
somewhere.
not undertake an experiment knowing one has.
Well, I mean,
Back to the rowing.
there is a part where you, like,
No, I mean I greatly
beat
appreciate
somebody
this
with a
is.
hook.
Perhaps you should ask him. I imagine he has a greater interest in getting there than I do.
Oh, you mean the skyhook where you just take that and literally shove it into a dude's
Because he
skull?
doesn't row.
Right,
Like it's a
or...
pinata?
Well, I mean, it does sometimes decapitate people.
I see what you mean.
Yeah.
We've arrived.
Anyways, so back to this game. Beautiful game is over 10 years old. It was made back in 2013. This is the third game in a series.
Would that change anything?
Might give him some comfort.
At least that's something we can agree on. Hey, somebody meeting me here?
Now, with
It does
that
seem like a dreadful place to be
being
stranded.
said, this is supposed to technically be the first game of the storyline, so I am not playing this in order of games coming out. I am playing this in order of, like, the timeline that it's actually supposed to be a part of. Because I can. Just because I can. So the first two games are based off of science. It's everything, a world created around science. But this one, let's see. DeWitt, bring us the girl and wipe away the debt. This is your last chance.
Excuse me. It's Booker DeWitt.
Really quick, Carl,
you're
is
expecting me?
is that supposed to be Comstock that we owe this debt to, in a way? Or who is it that we're owing the debt to and bringing her to? Is it the scientists?
You're basically giving her to the twins. That's basically like the whole thing, and it repeats itself. But there's a reason why there's that saying at the beginning where it says, in desperation, the mind will create memories where none exist.
Right.
Is because he can't fully remember.
Like what's happening right now?
His mind is constantly stacking up memories where none exist, and he's believing those are what's actually happened until you meet Elizabeth and you progress.
Great. So all of me interacting with the twins is more of a illusion?
You interacting with the twins they're on almost the same level as Elizabeth, where they're stuck and they're like the Cheshire Cat. They're here, but they're not here.
Right. But they're the
Because
ones
of their
that were.
experiments.
But they're the ones that we're getting Elizabeth for, and they're not necessarily bad guys.
That's why they died, is because they created the tech to travel from different times and spaces to get an Elizabeth.
Right.
Because where she could do it naturally, the twins had to do it artificially, but there was
right, but the twins were
something
also
wrong
the ones
with doing it artificially.
Right, but the twins were also the ones that kind of, like, the twins that are here with us now are not the actual twins from this timeline, because we see the twins later on in statues of the twins, but the twins from this timeline are dead. Okay. Just checking.
The twins from this timeline are mainly dead. But because they're dead, and because of their tie-in to what they did in the past, in their original timeline.
I shall wash thee. Check that out. What a beautiful look of Booker.
Look at that rendering. You look like a bitch still. Say what?
This Booker does not remember getting rid of Elizabeth, though.
He doesn't even remember Elizabeth.
Right.
He doesn't even remember having a daughter.
From Sodom I shall lead thee. Right, because this isn't his full correct... Is it Elizabeth that's in the wrong time now, or is it Booker that's in the wrong time now?
It's Elizabeth that's in the wrong time.
That's what I thought, because around this time is when we're giving away... Around this time,
she would still be a baby.
Right.
She would still be a baby right now. So they took her to their timeline, which ended up becoming the timeline you're in right now.
Right.
So somehow your timelines got mixed and pulled together, which is why Comstock, you, basically a Booker DeWitt from a separate timeline.
Right. The Comstock,
to change that.
The Comstock from this timeline is... I'm going to end up having to cut out all of this audio because we're just spoiling everything.
If someone hasn't played this goddamn franchise yet, at this point in time, we about to throw hands. I will find where you live and throw hands. To
shine thine own land, I shall take thee. So basically what we're talking about is the character...
I shall take you to go meet God personally.
But it's not the twins that did this, right? Or is it?
The twins are the reason why this paradox happened.
Right, but they're not the ones that caused that.
Caused what specifically?
This dead person
That,
here.
no. Yeah, that's one of the paradoxes that did happen.
Right.
him dying, that was actually one of the twins' doings.
Yeah, but not the twins that we're working with now. The ones that we're working with now are the good ones.
Yeah, no, that is part of their handiwork. That's one of the twins doing that.
Oh,
That's why there's a
right.
letter on there that says, "Don't disappoint us."
Right. But they killed that guy to get us to the
Because
rocket.
it was either... Yeah, that's why it says, "Don't disappoint us."
Right.
It's not talking about one person, because if it was Elizabeth from the future,
So,
it would say something totally different.
Right. The persistence of seeing notes like this is the people that were on the rowboat. Those are called the twins, and we're working with them as of currently. In the new Eden soil, I shall plant the. I didn't read the full thing. So
Listen,
basically,
his weird ass Bible verses came out backwards.
yeah. So just to explain a little bit what's going on here, that is where we came from. That city that's over there. The
That's
people,
New York.
Right, that's New York City. That's where we're from. Actually, isn't he from Brooklyn, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we are Booker DeWitt. Come from Brooklyn.
New York.
Did this paste twice?
Yes.
That's kind of a funny glitch.
Just
Are they all
casually.
like that?
No, not all of them. Mainly probably ones that are like that.
Okay.
Yeah, nope, just that one.
So the twins are who we're working for in this game. We are trying to get a girl named Elizabeth, which is actually the daughter of the character that we have now. There's a whole bunch of different time looping jumps that are in here. So our daughter Elizabeth is going to be like she's a teenager when we find her?
Yeah, she's in her teens.
She's a teenager when we find her.
Actually, I'm pretty... Excuse me. I'm pretty sure she's like on the edge of being a young woman-ish. Pretty sure she's on the edge of being like 20
Yeah,
by
something
the time
like
we
that.
find her.
Something like that. But she is Booker DeWitt's daughter.
Yeah.
But in his
daughter.
actual timeline, so in the timeline that we're in right now, she should be a baby, but because Comstock took her and did
From
a jump,
another timeline.
took her from a different timeline, jumped back with her and re-raised her into this timeline and created this world called Ascension with her, calling himself the prophet. He's not really a prophet, he just already lived this life. The Comstock is Booker DeWitt, just older. So currently we are fighting ourselves, him calling us the devil, calling us issues, calling us issues, causing issues. It's long, indefinite.
It's more or less because he knows he brought himself and Elizabeth into a timeline
that he
where
already
this
knows
Booker
everything.
is not going to stop. Like, this Booker's not going to stop till he gets to her.
Right. And until we get to meet Elizabeth, everything is a blur to us. He doesn't remember giving away his daughter. He doesn't remember the gambling, but you have to remember that with this whole endeavor, the debt that's going on right now, Booker is a raging alcoholic and has a gambling problem. So the debt that we are erasing is our gambling debt.
Because at this point in time, he doesn't remember, like, the memory hasn't come into him yet that his debt was wiped away when he handed over Elizabeth as a child. He doesn't remember that part. So as of right now, in this part of his mind, all he remembers is the twins coming up to him saying, "Find us the girl and we'll wipe away your debt." Is pretty much about as far as his memory will go because of the time paradox that has happened within that time.
Right. And he doesn't remember part of the reason that he doesn't remember giving away part of the reason that he doesn't remember giving her away is because Elizabeth has this amazing ability that she can rip into other timelines, other possibilities. It's supposed to be like the thought of there being a multiverse. So she can go into different multiverses. And because there's been so many jumps of things that have happened, the Booker doesn't remember any of it. None of it. His memory has been wiped away because there's been so many jumps that have happened. And the twins are part of the cause of that. They are these scientists that make all these different weapons and things that have been created, and they created an artificial way to do it, like Carl had mentioned. But that caused issues like this whole not being able to remember things. So, with that being...
And... what was it? The fact is that also that Comstock is sterile.
Right, so the
You can't have
Comstock...
children.
The Comstock that is in this world, this version of Booker, can't have children, so he went to other places to get
all
her.
all the variations of Booker that become Comstock become sterile because of the jumps.
Right.
Every time they use the machine that the twins created, it slowly over time with more use made him sterile.
Right.
Which is why I don't know how he did it with some of those timelines, but at some points, which is why he was called the prophet, is because and believe in that in those times, there was no such thing as testing that child to make sure it really was yours.
Right.
And I don't know how it happened, but somehow he didn't in this timeline. Somehow she did give birth to Elizabeth, or at least that was somehow perceived that way.
Lady
I don't
Comstock...
know how it did it. It must have been something with the temporal or memory effects that they can pull.
So Lady Comstock, which we'll see in a moment, is the mother of Elizabeth, which is actually is actually her mother. But there is something that you see later on about brainwashing. And that's all Comstock does, is brainwash people. Makes people think that things are differently. He takes things from actual history, like slaves being, like the people when Abraham Lincoln relinquished slavery. It shows he rewrites history to show that he's just a devil and this awful person. Like I said, this game is super racist. That is Comstock. That is Booker when he is older, but it is a very evil version of Booker.
Yeah, because that version, I mean, it's not only that, but it also shows how manipulative Comstock becomes, because he takes
Comstock is the worst version
of
Booker.
Yeah, he basically is. Because it shows you how much he was capable of manipulating people back then by
he basically
taking
put himself in all
the accomplishments of others.
Yeah, he basically put himself in like different wars that happened over time and showed that he was just this amazing person that led them through whatever, and he was able to do it with these powers that he had when he really has nothing.
He took his own thing, granted from his timeline, but he went into a timeline where Booker was, granted, he was a soldier. The Booker that you're playing, he's a soldier,
but he's not,
or a veteran. He was at Wounded Knee. He was at those war zones 9 times. He was at those war zones every time they mention a war against the Chinese.
But he was nothing special. He was not the generals.
Yeah, he was just a soldier.
He was just a footman.
Yeah, he was just a frontliner. He was a foot soldier. He was in the front, and Slate was with them all the time. Where Slate was a captain, I believe he was.
Right. So
he was commander.
even Lady Comstock is very brainwashed. Even it is his wife, but she is also very brainwashed. Like right here. So this beautiful woman right here. This is Lady Comstock. She's depicted as an angel, and she's depicted as an angel because she's the mother of Elizabeth.
Yeah, she's basically depicted as Mary, as much as like in original Christian culture where
Mary
he
basically depicts himself
told to have Jesus.
Yeah, he basically depicts himself as God. So if we go over here, we see this beautiful memorial to Mary, which has,
as we all know, Lady Comstock, and somehow it depicts where she's somehow is pregnant with the lamb, also known as Elizabeth,
Mm-hmm.
without them having intercourse.
Right. Which
is the whole why I say she's depicted as the Holy Mary, because
right.
that's how in that religion it's depicted, where she has a child without,
and
while
she
still being a virgin.
technically she did sleep with Booker DeWitt. She just doesn't remember it because she's just as brainwashed as everybody else.
Yeah.
And thinks that Comstock is her husband when he's not. So this is one of the inquiries from Lady Comstock.
Love the prophet because he loves the sinner. Love the sinner because he is you. Without the sinner, what need is there for a redeemer? Without sin, what grace has forgiveness?
And just to go over, there is a part in here that shows that Booker is not a religious man. He's not, and he never was.
No. He hates
and
it.
Neither was Lady Comstock, which shows part of the brainwashing. And there's a part in this game that it shows you this like place that's like a cult. Here's this about Elizabeth. There's a section in here that's like a cult, and it even has a video going over brainwashing and going over the psychology.
But it also
Comstock is a very intelligent man.
Yeah, he is. But there is also some parts where Booker does become religious, which is where the Comstock timeline begins, which is where parts of which is where the start of other timelines is him becoming Comstock happens. The Booker you're playing obviously
Is not.
Didn't take the rebirth, as we all say, or the baptism. He didn't take it, which is why he's not Comstock right now, which is why we're playing as Booker.
So to explain this a little bit, at the beginning I said that there were two different versions of this game. There with the different stuff that goes on. I'm gonna get through this part and I'll explain what I need to in a moment. I love this, how like when you walk past, little candles go through and it has the smoke and it just like kind of bloop. I love that, and I love the smoke effect. I think it's so pretty. On console though, it continues to do little smoke. I so wish I could play this on console right now. Excuse you. Boops. Thank you. Sorry, I got offended. I will say the mirroring on this water is beautiful. Does 2K make Assassin's Creed? Or is that a different company?
Someone from the Sodom below, newly come to Columbia to be washed clean before our prophet, our founders, and our Lord.
I just need passage into the city.
No.
Passage to the city.
Huh?
I said, does 2K make Assassin's Creed?
2K is a part of that project, yes.
I thought so. The only reason that I say that is just because of some of this like mirroring stuff on it. It has like the same graphic type as Assassin's Creed does. I think they're really
that's
good.
Pretty much why, is because they worked on those same projects.
Right.
In the name of our founders and the name of our Lord.
Getting rebirthed.
You mean drowned?
Well, you know what I mean.
I don't know, brothers and sisters.
Yeah, this ain't baptism, homie. This is agreeable drowning.
Well,
This is legal drowning. Homie's just going like, you gonna go to sleep.
this is one of those. It's not really a flashback.
What do you want?
This really isn't a flashback. Now this is where he lives. This shows us about him being in the military. He's a detective, like I had said before. I did say that he was a detective, didn't I?
In the last one before we restarted, but
Gotcha.
yeah, he was.
So he was in the military
detective.
and he was a detective. Like I said, really bad gambling addiction, as you can see. This shows us here, and really bad drinking problems. So this is one of those things that Carl was saying about where his mind makes up things that happened. This is something that didn't actually happen.
You ready to meet God? 3. Ready to go on a dinner date with God? Yes. Go on.
And like we said about how he rewrites things about history, this is a big example because he decided to take history and mix it, like American history, and mix it with a lot of religion. So if you see
He
right
took,
here,
like,
you
pretty
have
much the
Franklin.
big 3.
Right. So right here you've got Franklin, there's Washington, and there's Jefferson, and that's a big way of how they get mixed within that stuff.
Yeah, like they're basically created as almost archangels or
Yeah,
as
they're
gods,
seen like
almost.
gods, and yeah. So now, mind you,
Or it's just
this,
like everything down below here, pretty much where that religion. This is like completely cut off. This is like a remake of all of Christianity, where it's like in his how he distorted it because
So just to show like basically what this game did.
the hummingbird. It looks like a hummingbird.
I know. I love how good they did the hummingbird. I love the like thing.
Bro, you're not a polygon anymore. I'm so happy.
He's so cute. Look at him. I love like how you
He's
can
like-
barely see the wings like an actual hummingbird.
He's like,
'Cause you move
dude,
so fast.
I'm not a single polygon.
He's so impressive.
Look.
Anyways, so to basically explain this a little bit more, if you look at history with some psychopaths, serial killers, there are some that make religious cults. And what they do is they rewrite history and religion, and they brainwash people into believing them, and that is exactly what Comstock does. It's exactly what he does. And he kills people relentlessly. But he is a serial killer.
He basically
He
didn't put himself as an image of God. He puts himself as a prophet of a person that
it's not even that he
seems
puts
to
him as
almost
an
like-
image
it's
of God.
like- it's like
he is
Jonathan-
God. He
it's
has
like
a God
Jonathan
complex.
Seed from. Yeah, there is a God complex with him, but he doesn't call himself a god. He calls
No,
himself
he calls
a
himself the
prophet
prophet.
because he seems to think he knows God's plan. It's almost like Jonathan Seed, except not into that point. Because where in the Far Cry 5 series, he actually did know God's plan. God did speak to that character.
Right.
And that happens. But then the whole storyline gets convoluted, and then you have to go in deep into the other games to understand what the fuck really happened in 5. And we're not going down that rabbit hole.
Yeah, different
But-
games. Stay focused.
But,
But yeah, so
besides
that's
he tears apart one religion and takes specific points in history and he makes it a part of that religion.
right. And
Which
this
is why
is
Jefferson, Washington, and Franklin are seen as deities or gods or angels or archangels in that point in time.
but if you
where
look
see him when
later,
the character first wakes up.
but if you look later, like there's a part later in the game where it depicts Abraham Lincoln as the devil, and it depicts him that way because
Yeah.
Comstock is extremely racist.
Yeah, Comstock he's a colonial, I believe.
Yes.
No, wait, not which side was it? That was the South. Was it the colonials?
I believe so.
But yeah, he was that version of Comstock was
Hold on. Let me.
highly South. Like he was for slavery. Which is why he depicted it. I think he was more or less that. Yeah, no, I think he did it because he was kind of he depicted things like that for that reason. It's kind of hard to say.
Confederacy. He was a Confederate.
So that version of Booker went Confederate after being reborn for some reason.
Yes.
He went from fighting
To free
for
people.
freedom to basically becoming the person that's enslaving. Hence the rename, which is why when they took the baptism, Elizabeth says you were reborn because the ones that did take the baptism became reborn as Comstock.
And she told me the most remarkable thing.
It was no longer Booker.
You're right, Prophet. But if grace is within the grasp of one such as you, how can anyone else not
Damn,
see
homie,
it
you scrubbing them shoes really hard, homie.
I was trying to listen to the Comstock thing. Anyways, but so it's just there's so much to unpack in this game, and it was so beautifully written. And you have to pay attention to the story, otherwise you're gonna get lost.
Oh, very much so. It's so easy to lose track of the story if you're not actually going through the game with a fine-tooth comb.
But like I said at the beginning of this, there are many things in here that can offend people. It's a racist game. It tears apart the Christian religion, and it tears apart history.
It tears apart about a lot of things. It tears apart basically the history that is pretty much taught across all of America. It tears apart the Christian religion and adds from history and adds to that religion to where Comstock makes it his own. Like, he takes things from history, he takes things from religion, and he just makes it his own thing.
I love the clothing style in here. I think it's gorgeous.
Oh yeah, no, the clothing style back in the 1900s is fucking amazing.
Well, in its early 1900s.
I'm not gonna lie, I wish we stayed with that clothing style, not gonna lie.
I don't
It
hate.
looks so good.
I don't hate like the way that we changed things, but I love when I get to cosplay and do that stuff. I would actually love
I agree with you.
to do a cosplay of Elizabeth when she's in her mother's dress.
Oh yes, the cover arted Elizabeth. That's so good.
Mm-hmm.
But I
love the technology in this game. I just love steampunk. I think steampunk is phenomenal.
But to me, I feel like I don't hate the clothing style nowadays, but to me, I feel like it's kind of like lost some sort of touch to it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like anytime I really like look back on like the old style of clothing that we all used to mass produce and wear back then, it kind of like, where the fuck did it go wrong?
I just wish things were as cheap as what they used to be.
No, I just want to know where the fuck it went wrong. I want to know where the fuck when it went wrong to where we start wearing tire and call that a fucking fancy.
You know, you got a point. There's certain things that I question, but I do love just some of the outfits that are in this game. I think they're beautiful. But like I said, I cosplay. I go to the Renaissance Fair.
Columbia Raffle and Fair.
I like it. I do. I think it's gorgeous. No, but this game is wonderful in so many different ways. This game makes me think of the book Fahrenheit 51. If you haven't read the book Fahrenheit 51, basically what happens within that book is it goes over all of the it goes over different issues that we have now. It goes over religion and cars getting faster and the books disappearing and stuff like that, and just it eventually makes books illegal, and it shows that how our culture today is going to affect us in the future. This is one of those things. Just it's how things can change, how it can affect people. It's
where
love it.
one person taking one step down a different tunnel can lead to monstrous changes in the future.
It's the butterfly effect.
Yeah, I mean that's basically what the Bioshock series is I mean, not even past that, but basically since the first one, it's been nothing but the butterfly effect. Every decision you make matters.
Right.
Period.
Because you do get to change, like, it does ask you.
We're raising money for the Girls' Patriotic League.
This makes me think of Girl Scouts.
You'd look dashing with one
Girls
in your lapel.
Patriotic
Come
League.
back if you change your mind.
Wouldn't that be Girl Scouts?
Close. Yeah, close. But do realize that also in this timeline, their rights did not fucking exist yet.
No. Nope. There's a
Well,
lot of
I
rights
believe
people
down.
just didn't
I
have.
believe down on ground floor, or the Sodom as they put it, basically.
Yeah, you gotta
The
remember
fucking below
if
them.
whatever
You had rights, but
right, whatever new laws came out after the 1920s are not here right now.
it did not. It did. No, it wasn't even brought up with them. They kept the old ways when they ascended. So basically, ascending to them, they kept the old ways. They kept the old rules,
Right.
and
So
that's how it lived.
people here still
While
super
downstairs
racist.
kept going. Oh yeah, people up in the sky are fucking. Them sky Wookiees racist as fuck.
Yeah. So most of the people you're gonna see in here is white unless they're servants. And that's why they did the whole ascension thing. Just technology in this game was very different. Everything here is very steampunk-esque. And it's gonna stay steampunk-like. But that's just how this world took a turn. That whole butterfly effect thing. This was the butterfly effect. Everything was in a steampunk manner. Now, things from the 1920s did run on a lot of steam, just not like this. But, and I think the main thing that changed, and it's because of Lady Comstock, the only difference with the change in things is women have more rights.
Telegram, Mr. DeWitt.
Women have a lot more
Telegram for you,
rights
sir.
up here,
But that's because of Lady Comstock.
up there, but that is because they worshipped Lady Comstock as a god as well. They worshipped her almost as much as they worshipped Comstock himself.
Right. So that's the only difference.
And that was pretty much the only big difference, is that they were worshipped more heavily. That women, that's probably the one thing in that culture that probably was kind of great.
Was how well women were treated
was women were given a little bit more. Women
So-
were given much more rights up there
Just
than they
to
were down on the
explain
ground.
real
first.
quick, that is supposed to be the Archangel. That we actually have to go up there to find Elizabeth, but that Archangel is supposed to be Elizabeth.
Yes.
So that depiction of her right now, that's what she's supposed to look like. Like I said,
Good day to you, sir.
beautiful, beautiful day. But I think even here, Booker dresses a little bit different than everybody else. Because things have still changed, even design-wise, from where he is. Everything up here is bright and beautiful, but where he is, it's not.
Hello there, friend.
Everybody's friendly here. Well, kinda. Like I said, racist people.
Mm-hmm.
Gonna let me through here, pal?
Street's closed for your safety, fella. They're prepping tonight's fireworks back there.
There's enough TNT back there to blow Peking to
You know what I
Kingdom
just
Come.
thought about? I want to see
Again.
what their badges look like.
Better find another way around.
Cause, huh? Well, we were able to see Booker's at the beginning, so I was just wondering like how different theirs is. But if you look, like even their flag here is different. Like their supposed American flag that they have is different.
Fingers now. Would you believe me? If I told you a man could hoist a 1-ton stallion straight into the air, would you believe me? Well, friends,
These are them going
I'm
over the
here
different
today
plasmids.
to tell. Those are no flights of fancy. Those are no tall tales told behind the pool hall. No, sir. No, ma'am. Those are vigors I'm talking about. Brought to you courtesy of Mr.
I'm gonna do the glitch to get Bucking Bronco early. There are some different glitches in this game. I have figured them out, so I want to do them a little bit because it does make the game a little more interesting, and I'd like to show you guys the things that you're able to do. So, And forgive me if you don't like that I'm doing glitches. On the bright side, this is one of the few games that I seem to have a good shot with.
Hit enough and I'll get you a prize. Oh, this fella knows his stuff.
So the people that we're shooting right here, these rebels, these are supposed to be the rebellion that's being done right now because of, well, racism. And because of the dictatorship that Comstock has.
Yeah,
Which
pretty much.
Booker later basically joins
In
the
one
revolution.
one timeline, he does join. That he becomes the face of that. It wasn't Daisy Fitzroy. It became Booker. That became the voice.
Daisy
and the face
Fitzroy
of the
is the main one for it, but we do end up working with her in this timeline.
Yeah, and well, not this timeline.
Well,
This
we help
timeline,
her.
we don't need her. Yeah,
We don't
another
need her, but
timeline
we help
where-
her.
Yeah, you help her, but not in this timeline because you have to get to a point where Elizabeth opens a door to where you do.
We do have to work with her a little bit, but the only reason that he really agrees to do it is one, because he needs her help, and two, because he doesn't agree with slavery. He doesn't agree with the treatment that people are receiving here.
And that when you get to the timeline to where he is the face, then yeah, he becomes. She convinces him to join her in the box, and you end up, if you can find his recordings in that timeline, you do realize he doesn't regret it.
No. No, he does not.
And if I'm right, he even gives recordings. One of the recordings says you can take this to New York and tell them to suck it, basically, because they're not getting the girl.
Right.
A personal record
Yeah, because in that one he also goes to the twins and refuses to even give Elizabeth now to them.
Yeah. Yeah, he refuses to hand over the twins. Well, not the twins, but he refuses to hand over Elizabeth to him.
And he kind of takes over this new Columbia.
Yeah, he becomes the face of the box and stuff, where sadly he ends up dying. He ends up, in that timeline, he dies.
Right. And that's probably one of the best versions of Booker that there is.
Yeah, I mean, besides the one we're playing where he's willing to constantly change himself for the better of it, because in this timeline we play the greatest version of Booker where he's open-minded, he tries to keep himself tethered to reality while his mind stays open enough and good enough to where he accepts things.
Right, this is
As
the
is with
acceptance
Elizabeth.
Booker. The other Booker is the one that changes everything, and then there's other Bookers that are just awful.
And then
Like
there's just
Comstock,
and
which is the
fucking-
worst.
There's the variations of Booker where it's Comstock, and then there's just got the doors are literally endless. Because at the end of the game, you see how many different variations how many different variations of Elizabeth and Booker there are.
Yeah, there's a
while they're
version
all
of
walking around.
There's a version of Elizabeth where she's like, I waited for you to help me, and she ends up becoming the monster that Comstock turns her into, and she becomes this horrible dictator.
Because in that timeline where she pulls herself, she uses the last of her own strength to pull you into that timeline where you can save her, is because no matter what you do, any timeline she tries to pull you in there, Songbird kills you. Songbird kills that Booker.
Yeah, so because Elizabeth knows at some point that you're supposed to help her, just in that one, she's like broken. Her mind is
Yeah,
so
because
gone,
she
and
she
just
says it.
becomes terrible.
Well, it's not her mind that becomes her mind. She became a dictator out of that because just like she even tells you like time erodes everything.
Right. There's just, like I
Like
said,
no
she
matter
just
what
becomes
she
corrupt.
no matter what she yeah, no matter what she did, time just erodes everything.
Well, and she didn't realize how what she was doing was damaging things. So yes, the twins are a big reason why things get ruined, but at the same time, it's the exact same thing. When she does it, it just takes longer. I hate going against that big dude. Scary.
Oh, the handymans.
Sorry, pal. The raffle is all sold out. Entrance is reserved for dignitaries and very important personages alone.
Guessing that don't mean me.
Well, if it isn't Assemblyman Buford, your spot at the raffle awaits. Don't know why I didn't recognize you before.
I'm glad you do now.
Always look at
Heads.
Or tails.
Come on, let me through.
Type of tomfoolery am I
Or
fucking saying?
tails.
Heads.
Alright,
Told you.
now I gotta back up into the... Oh, I guess it's for the original game.
Chin up. There's always next time.
No, I wasn't able to do it. Yeah, these are
Yeah,
the twins that we're working
because-
for, by the way.
Yeah. Which is funny because any other time you turn around, they're gone. That's where the Cheshire Cat thing kind of blinks in.
Right, but we're supposed to... You mean like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Pretty much
you're supposed
gone.
to... You're supposed to be able to back up into that to get back in
Yeah,
there.
that's another thing. They kind of fixed that when it's the,
Oh, but that ruins
the-
it, because that was supposed to be a purpose, like, that was supposed to be, like, on purpose.
Yeah, but sadly that's what happened when the game became remastered. Certain glitches just stopped working.
Yeah, but that was an Easter egg. Oh, I love these ladies' comments.
That one. He looks lost.
He looks just fine to me.
Mary, you are a living, walking scandal.
Just as an example of women having way more freedom, because most women would have never said that.
Yeah.
I hear your father.
Yeah, exactly. That was the thing back then. Most women couldn't say things like that back in these timelines.
But that's an example.
It is because that's where Lady Comstock, where in this timeline, where because she basically became a leader in it on herself in this place when she became close to Comstock,
I'd love to bust some box.
where she molded a lot of other things. So women have a lot of rights here where down below they wouldn't.
So right there, what we just watched is an example of that Cheshire Cat effect. That was
Yeah,
the twins.
the spatial distortion.
Right, that went from the male to the female, and that is a perfect example of it, because that is them. And now we're gonna listen to this little girl, which gives an amazing thing of like how they see them. Now these are the ones that are originally from the timeline, not the ones that we're actually dealing with, but...
Madam Lutece, I have read all your books on the sciences. Mama says it's not a fit occupation for a lady, but I think she's jealous of our cleverness. Is it true that only you were allowed to visit the girl in the tower? If the lamb is lonely too, I should like to meet her, as we would have much in common. Warmest regards, Constance.
Yeah, just to say, these people are well aware of the fact that Elizabeth is locked up in the Angel. It's just they see it as they're protecting the lamb, because that is what they call her, the lamb.
Yeah, that's the name the Prophet, Comstock or DeWitt, well, Comstock, pretty much gave her. Just called her lamb.
Which I think in his own way, that was his way of demoralizing her. Because even as Comstock did not treat her well and did not treat her as a daughter. He used her as a tool for his own game.
Yeah, a lot of different Comstocks did that. But the one she did end up with, it's more or less he kept her in that tower to siphon her power.
Right. So he doesn't treat her well at all. She's a tool.
Yeah. He treats her as a tool, but he treats her better than most of the Comstocks actually would to any of the other timelines.
Yeah, and you see that when you actually go into the tower. Her tower is actually very nice and comfortable, but she's
But the thing is,
still...
she's watched as an experiment.
Right, and she knows she's... Not only is she watched as an experiment, but she's also locked in there and can't leave. So it's still a prison, it's just a glorified one.
It's a gilded cage. It's the gilded cage scenario.
I'm not done out here. Yeah. So, yes, she is treated a little better, but he treats her better in this one because he sees it as a way of making her more compliant.
It's more or less atonement.
He doesn't care, he just learned that this is the easiest way of doing it.
Yeah. It's more or less, it's just like, to him it's kind of a thing of atonement and trying to prove that he is the better version of DeWitt because he is DeWitt.
Right.
He's just the reborn, he's just the one that took the rebirth. He's the one that took the baptism.
Pause.
But
before I continue, and I'll put a warning up here, this is probably the most racist part of the game.
Oh,
it's
yeah,
really,
no, this
it's
is
really fucked up.
Oh, it's so fucking out there. But then again, with the time this is in, which is the 1912, this would have been seen in that timeline.
That's a lucky number.
It was seen in 1912.
Yeah, so just fair warning, so you guys are aware.
This is literally the only and the most racist part of the game.
Well, there's still some other racist things. They're just mellowed out. This is not mellow.
They're small. Yeah, there's small comments and shit though that you would get from the NPCs.
So just
prepare
yourself.
This is just outright, which honestly is probably, I'm kind of glad that they did it at the beginning of the game and not somewhere down the line.
Right.
With something like this.
Basically, these two people are being punished because they tried to marry in secret, and he tried to marry somebody that was colored.
Hey, what are you doing?
Yes.
Come on.
Where in 1912, this is exactly how it would have been treated at the Clan Cup, or worse. But it was turned into much more of a horrendous spectacle.
Which, and of course, you are given the option to try to throw this ball at the gentleman doing this rather than the couple.
You can yeet it at him, but most fuckboys, and we all know who you are. I'm looking at you. I see you. Don't think I can't. I know for a fact you threw it at the other two couple tied up.
But yeah, so...
I know who you are.
And they end up discovering us because of the mark.
Because he went to go throw the ball at the spectator, which no matter which...
Doesn't matter which one you choose,
throw,
this happens.
Yeah, where I believe in the original one way back in the day, in beta testing or the alphas, where when you did throw the ball at the couple, you actually did get away with throwing the ball at the couple. And then you got caught. But in this one, you choose and no matter what, you get caught. Period.
Yeah, like I said, many different endings, that's one of them. But this is the remastered version, and that did have a lot of hate. So because of that, that is no longer an option, which is okay. I'm okay with that. I never chose to hit the couple.
Listen, before woke became the way it is, we had a lot of woke people back in the day. All right, before the word woke became what it is now, where it used to stand for something totally different.
Yeah. So, but that's why I put a warning at the beginning of the video, and I will remind everybody of it every video. That this game is racist. You will never see anything as bad as that. That is probably the worst that it gets, but
that is as bad as it gets, yeah.
But that was still,
I mean, you'll still hear
pretty bad.
You still hear monotone,
but just
words here and there and speak, which
so
is fine for 1912.
Just so you guys hear this monologue, this is the dude that I tried to throw the ball at.
You sell 'em paradise.
Think.
Jesus! Holy goodness!
Yes. Big Sexy in the background sneaking up.
You too, I guess?
I love you so much. I did not hear you at all because the music was so loud.
I did. I heard that man's wimp stomping.
That's a compliment. Because I usually walk fat-footed.
My heart just dropped out
No,
of my chest.
don't worry, Big Sexy. I heard you.
I'll find it.
That was rude. Why you gotta be like that? I got attacked.
No, you got schnucked up upon.
You tickled me. Wait, no. Do I not get a kiss?
My lips are wet.
Okay, and? What's the difference between that and me kissing you when I got chapstick on my face? Yeah, what about it? There's still more in there. Do you want some?
It's gonna be your kiss tax.
Okay, I mean, there's more chocolate downstairs. I think there's like half a bar left in there still. So he's stealing my chocolate because I want to kiss after he just scared the piss out of me. You can have more. You can have the rest of it if you want.
I don't need all that much.
Thank you.
Hey, yo, tell Big Sexy I said hi and was good, and that I heard his fat ass coming.
He gave me a kiss and then told me that now I taste chocolate. You're so dumb.
Damn.
I'm leaving that in. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I'm so sorry that took so long. My boyfriend really did give me a heart attack. I did not hear him at all because I have my headphones on.
Possession now turns machine and man into allies.
I just saw him like out of the like peripheral corner of my eye. Walk up next to me. It's always ghosts.
For every chore. No menials in God's kingdom. Well, I have a man in Georgia who'll lease us as many Negro convicts as you can board. Why, you can say they're simple souls in penance for rising above their station. Whatever eases your conscience, I suppose.
Yeah, super racist dude. I did try to hit him with the ball. Just point
Which is
that
funny
out.
because just to be clear, he's one of the reasons
Dude, nah. Anyways.
But just a little thing that Fink, because of the technology the twins created, and because Comstock knows Fink will do whatever he says. Fink will do whatever Comstock says as long as there's monetary gain to it or something. He'll gladly do it. But he also says Fink is also the reason why the twins are dead. Because there's a talk between them why one of the guards talking that worship Comstock talking to Fink saying you're the only one who can make it look like an accident.
Yeah.
So, the death of the twins that looked like accidents is because of Fink. And Fink gained their tech.
Yeah.
Gained everything from them. Because that was the price. Comstock said, you can have all of this shit, just make it look like an accident. They need to die.
Right. Because Comstock wanted to be rid of them because they wanted to help Elizabeth.
They could expose her. Yeah.
By the way,
Basically. So tying up loose ends.
I did not know that if you use possession on the officers, that if there's no more enemies left, that they kill themselves.
Yeah, they just, they go, God, I'm coming, click.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I know, it's fantastic. It does the job for me. I don't have to waste bullets.
I didn't know that.
Oh, it's great.
I just saw that, like, totally by accident. A couple minutes ago when we were talking. I didn't want to interrupt you, but I didn't know that. I feel kind of fucked up.
I don't feel a thing.
I think
I did that quite often.
I won't lie. I think it's really interesting how, like, do they do that just at the end of their possession, though, if there are other enemies?
No, at the end of the possession, if there is other enemies, they'll be completely out of it and they'll go back to chasing after you.
Oh, okay.
But they still have to be under the possession for them to just say, God, I'm coming to meet you, click.
I wasn't sure. I'm gonna be serious. Like, I didn't know that they did that. That's the first time I saw that, but I don't think I ever knew, like, until you said something to me, I don't think I ever realized that you could use that one on people. I don't think I ever even upgraded them, because I think I got an achievement from that, because I don't think I ever upgraded my vigors.
Yeah, no, you should upgrade your vigors. Always upgrade them.
Oh, no. I agree with that, now knowing that. But I didn't know that before, and I ended up getting an achievement for never upgrading them. Because I didn't know that. Also, cool twist on firemen. Just dude that attacks you with fire. Man, got that good trigger finger. Yo, dog, I'll come back for you in a minute. Nah, I'm gonna take you right now. Never mind.
Yes. Well, you only live once.
Press to throw a fiery grenade. Hold and release to create an explosive trap.
On the bright side, replaying these games will be kind of nice.
That wasn't no sample.
Because it'll give me a way to go over these games again to continue making my Bioshock campaign.
Oh yeah, I mean definitely this is a way to start because Infinite is probably the hardest to get around with.
Right.
Because there's so much extra shit.
Anyways. Now I go loot. Nah, but my goodness. It's just so much that goes on. So to explain what me and him were just talking about, we played D&D a lot together, and I decided that I was going to make a Bioshock campaign. If you guys want to see that, I am more than willing to record and post and live stream the whole thing.
Gladly help to commit war crimes. Gladly.
Just so you guys are aware, I will not. I don't really do a lot of clipping. I do very little. Like if I go to take a quick break or something, or, well, not really a quick break, but if I go to take a break, I'll like clip out whatever time it was that was missed. But that's really it. Or like when I start this recording, of course, it shows like a little bit of the beginning when I was opening up in Steam, so I'll cut that out. But there's gonna be no clips, like, at all when I record for D&D. I'll do a disclaimer in there because people can get a little out of pocket when playing that game, but it is gonna be exactly how...
little?
It is gonna be absolutely uncut. That's just how they are when they play that game.
We do tend to be a little bit out of pocket. Yeah, fucking little is an understatement, homie.
Little.
A little. That's a lie. That's like committing a war crime and then blaming it on the small child fucking down the street.
That's so messed up. Anyways, but
Love you.
I'm going to make things as visual as humanly possible. By the way, this is exactly what we were talking about with him rewriting history. There's a big section that goes over him being a liar.
Night, Mom.
Night, man.
I feel like I leave here. I bet you say that.
That was just one of those things that it shows that he rewrote. These things are great. I love these. I like little films.
You doing, child? You really don't go on anything else but TikTok, do you?
What did I do?
No, I'm just... You need to expand your horizons, child, dear God.
Me?
No, not you.
Oh, are you talking to your sister? I thought you were talking to me. I was
Yes,
like, what did I do?
I'm talking to my little sister.
Okay, now then. So I'm gonna leave the video right here as we did just enter the next chapter, and my video is finally at an hour. I don't like
Love you,
really going
Jenna.
past an hour.
Night.
So once again, I'm Razor Spider. Thank you, my little spiderlings, for joining me, and I will see you guys in the next video.
Don't forget,
Bye bye.
you have my permission to commit arson.
Don't listen to him. No, don't do that.